High above the super speedway known as Toddring. Welcome everybody here as we get set for qualifying for race number 11 on the season for Division 2 of the NNSCRA Skittles Super Speedway Series. This is a change on the schedule. For those of you that didn't tune into the Division 1 qualifying session earlier on today, we were originally supposed to be going to Proving Grounds, but due to the fact that it only held 39 pit stalls, we would have ended up having in each division to have one driver miss the race. I wasn't going to do that. This is a track that I had run online in Levi McIntyre's Steak and Shake Super Speedway Series. And I thought, well, let's give it a go, and boy, did it prove to be exciting in the Division 1 qualifying session. We're looking at the 23 of Jake Galloway, who just now is getting ready to begin his first lap, and he is over 250 miles per hour. We saw drivers almost hit 270 miles per hour in round 2 of the Division 1 qualifying session. Sunny right now here for round 1. It was overcast for Division 2 for their second round, and that's why the speeds were so much faster. And I'm telling you what, I'm almost praying that we have some kind of overcast for at least either Division 1 or the Division 2 race, because that is going to be unbelievable. So coming into this race here for Division 2, we have had 10 races and 10 different drivers have gone to victory lane as Jake Galloway lays down the first official lap time of the session, 42.567. So right now, coming into this race, we have 2 drivers that have a win that currently are not in one of the 8 playoff grids. The most recent winner, of course, was Eric Sadler, taking the checkered flag last week at Talladega Super Speedway. And that moved him into one of the 8 playoff positions. Right now, the drivers that would be in those 8 playoff positions via wins are our points leader, Fury Gamington, Jeff Scott, John Andrews, Eric Sadler, Charles Sanford, Nathan Ormond, Vince Almriego, and Caleb Farrell, our Daytona winner. Right now, the 2 drivers that would not be in those playoff spots, 30th in the point standings right now coming into this race, are Armory Digital winner William Brock and Sadal Solera, our winner from Madrid. However, Solera has bigger things to worry about because coming into this race, Sadal sits 35th in the points, outside the top 30 in the standings, which means that that win would not count anyway towards a playoff position. So Sadal really needs a good weekend here with time running out. I mean, including this race, there's only 5 races remaining in the regular season before the playoff grid is put together. But in this division, with having 10 different race winners and only 8 playoff spots up for grabs, it's going to get really interesting towards the close of the regular season as to who's going to be able to make it in and who is not. Top of the board right now is Jesse Turner over Sadal Solera. Turner with a 40.776, Sadal with a 40.810. As Jake Galloway, the car that we're looking at that was first car on track, right now in that critical 10th position. And as soon as I say that, he gets knocked out. James Shelley will move in. Jesse Turner, right now the fastest car on track. There is Shelley. Now dropped to 15th. Shelley in a new paint scheme this week. Blames Shelley Insurance on his Camaro. Trying to shake it up a little bit as James Shelley has really been struggling this season. Still finds himself dead last in the points. Oh, we had another driver up top of the board. That is John Andrews in the 57. Former winner this season at, trying to remember which one it is, trying to get my facts correct. I want to say it was at Coca-Cola. Might have been at Pepsi. It was one of those 2. Where is he? There he is. Laying down the gauntlet of a 40.689 is John Andrews. Oh, he was in the pack that Shelley was in. I didn't even see him. Fitzwater, second fastest, also in this group, as is Cody Lamas, who is 4th fastest. Carson Gum, right now 8th fastest. He's in this pack. Shelley is 7th fastest, so it looks like right here, at least for the moment, this is the pack that's producing the speed and could be a number of the drivers that are going to make it into the second round of qualifying to battle for the pole. I'm just going to go back and check my facts, see indeed where the win was for John Andrews. It was at Coca-Cola, so I was right. And of course, John Andrews as well is a former pole sitter this season, taking the pole last week at Talladega. So if John Andrews makes it into the next round of qualifying, we may end up having a chance where the streak will come to an end. The streak I'm talking about is different drivers sitting on the pole. We ended up having a different pole sitter for the Division 1 qualifying session here earlier. Austin LaPlante will be leading the Division 1 drivers to green, so we are now 21 straight qualifying sessions where a different driver has gotten the pole position. Will it increase to 22? We'll have to wait and see, as Andrews, Lamas, Fitzwater all sitting up there with 40.6s. Looks like they are in pretty good shape to make it to the next round. 40.7s for Nathan Stapleton and Jesse Turner, a couple of teammates out of Otter Island Motorsports, so they might be good to make it to the next round. The driver right now on the bubble spot is at the tail end of this pack, and that's the 19 of Carson Gum. You got a couple of the backmarker motorsports cars up here in the top 10. Gum in the 10th position, Shelley in 8th, and we saw their teammate Andrew Miller back in Division 1 almost get the pole position, missed out by 1/1000th to Austin LaPlante. Carson Gum improves his lap time. He'll jump up now to the 8th position. That moves the 39 of Keith Batson down on the bubble spot. Let's see where the 39 currently is. He's in this pack with Jesse Turner, Sadal Solera, Josh Drake, and Trey Wright at the tail end. Trey Wright just jumped up to the 7th position. Don't know who that knocked out, though. So now Keith Batson's still on the bubble spot. Gonna get his progress held up a little bit there as they have to swing wide around the 65 of Rob Evans. About 2 3/4 minutes remaining here in this qualifying session. Keith Batson comes into this race currently situated in the 14th position in points. He had a good couple of weeks. He ran well at Coca-Cola, he ran well at Pepsi Super Speedway, as he now jumps up to 9th and puts James Shelley on the bubble spot in 10th. But last week did not have a good run at Talladega and dropped 8 spots in the standings. He was inside the top 10 in points going into that race. Let's jump back up further to the right. Whoa, wait a minute. Problems for William Flickinger. Not sure what's happened to him, but he is down in the grass trying to stay out of everybody's way. So problems for the 44 here in this qualifying session. I don't know if that's going to send him to a backup car or not. He was 25th fastest on the charts. Nice save on his part. He does have damage, though. And we'll have to wait and see if they are going to have to go to a backup car or not. It doesn't look like the damage is too bad. It all really depends on how hard a hit he took into the wall. And we were going to focus on the 71 of James Shelley, but he's coming to pit lane. Doesn't really matter, though. He just fell out of the top 10. Carson Gum now in the bubble spot as Josh Drake moved up to 7th. So now Carson Gum is the driver with the 40.848 that hopes that's going to be enough to get him into the second round of qualifying. James Shelley, I don't think they're going to be able to get him out there quickly enough in the last minute to be able to challenge for a spot back up in the top 10. And Carson Gum is out because we just had some new players jump up in the top 10. Daniel Voiles up to 9th, Charles Sanford up to 10th. What group are they in? There they are right there, catching up to Benny Watson, Chris Maley, and Nathan Ormond, and I think that this lap time might be even better for these two. So last-minute drivers jumping up there into the top 10, Voiles and Sanford. That knocked out, I believe, Carson Gum and not sure who the other one was. Kyle Langland just jumped up to 7th. That moved out Sanford. So now Sanford out. Now both of the World NOS Racing Fords are in, 7th and 10th, as we're looking at the car currently in 10th. That final spot. Beg your pardon. Daniel Voiles in that 10th position. Question is, can he hang on? Oh, he just got knocked out. Who just moved in? Patrick Smith just jumped up to 6th. That puts Josh Drake on the bubble spot. Well, that was on Josh Drake. There he is. 40.757. Will that be enough to get him into the second round? As Patrick Smith with a 40.727 works his way up to the 6th position. Carson Gum jumped up to 4th. I didn't even see that. So he didn't get knocked out of the top 10. He moved up in the top 10. And I think the session is about to come to a close. Zeros, I think that's it. I don't think they're going to count any more lap time, so Josh Drake is just barely going to make it in. John Andrews will make it into the next round, and they do not count that lap time by the 66. So the standings are official. It'll be Andrews, Lamas, Fitzwater, Gum, Stapleton, Smith, Sadal Solera, Keith Batson, Kyle Langland, Josh Drake. I'll have to look back through my notes, but I'm pretty certain only one of them, John Andrews, is a former pole sitter this season. So it looks like very well the streak could increase to 22 different drivers starting on the pole in the first 22 races of the season. Unless John Andrews is able to best that. Although, wait, no, I think Cody Lamas, if I remember now, I think Cody is actually a former pole sitter as well. Let me just double check on that. Yeah, he has a pole at Madrid. So the two fastest in this round are former pole sitters. So we have a 1 in 5 chance of the streak coming to an end here at Toddring in Division 2, but we also have a 4 in 5 chance that the streak will continue on. But it'll be Andrews, Lamas, Fitzwater, Gum, Stapleton, Smith, Sadal Solera, Keith Batson, Kyle Langland, and Josh Drake. They'll be the ones that will battle for the pole. Jesse Turner just misses out by about 2 100ths. He'll start Sunday night's race in 11th alongside Daniel Voiles in 12th. Then it'll be Sanford, Jack Halleck, and Trey Wright, your top 15. Benny Watson, Alex Benyako, Dylan Young. James Shelley fell down there in the closing stages. He was up in the top 10, came to pit road, ends it up in 19th. Alexander Rowe will complete the top 20. Fury Gamington, points leader that comes into this race. He's going to be starting quite a ways back from the 22nd position. Last week was only the second time that he did not finish a race inside the top 10 this year, so we'll have to see how he does. Eric Sadler, who won last week, is going to be starting back in the 26th position. And how about Michael Norman? Or, sorry, not Michael Norman, William Brock, all the way down there in 40th. We mentioned the fact that he comes into this race outside of the playoff grid. He's in that critical 30th position in points. Needs a good run to get himself back into a spot of one of those 8 playoff positions, and he will start the race from dead last. But that's going to do it here for round 1. Stay tuned. Round 2 of qualifying coming up. Who's going to start on the pole for this week's race at Toddring Superspeedway? Round 2 set to be run here, and as I looked back through my notes, indeed it is the case. The only 2 drivers that have made it into this round of qualifying that have a pole previously this season are the drivers that were first and second in qualifying round 1. John Andrews, who had the pole at Talladega, and Cody Lamas, who had a pole back at, I believe I said it was Dragonette. No, Madrid. My apologies. So, as we get set here for this second round of qualifying, Patrick Smith, who snuck his way into the top 10, if you will, going to be the first one out there on track. Unfortunately, it's not overcast, so we're not going to see super lightning speeds like we saw in round 2 of Division 1. But it is going to be interesting to see if these drivers are going to be able to continue on with the streak of 22 races, 22 different drivers on the pole, because you got Patrick Smith, you've got Zachary Fitzwater, Carson Gum, Nathan Stapleton, Sadal Solera, Keith Batson, Kyle Langland, Josh Drake. They're all looking for their first pole of the season, first of their career. Let's give you aware of those drivers that moved into this second round of qualifying, come into this race via the points. Fury Gamington is auspiciously missing from the second round of qualifying. He's made it for the last couple of weeks, it seems. Highest one that made it in is Nathan Stapleton. He's second in the points, trying to run down Fury Gamington, 61 points back, so this might be a step in the right direction for him. Carson Gum, he's 4th in points. Kyle Langland is 5th. John Andrews, he is 8th. Keith Batson is 14th. Cody Lamas, he is 25th. Zachary Fitzwater is 27th. Josh Drake outside the top 30 in points in 34th. Same for Sadal Soler in 35th. And same for Patrick Smith. He is 36th. Apologize if I didn't bring up the ticker as soon as Patrick Smith crossed the line. I was busy looking at the point standings on my other screen. Patrick Smith's going to get a good lap here. Well, maybe not. I thought he might get a good draft off the 66 of Josh Drake, but that might have held him up more than anything as he had to take a slightly higher line through the corner. He will improve on his lap time, 42.435, but that's already been beaten by Keith Batson, who is right now being drafted by Zachary Fitzwater and also getting a little of the draft off of Nathan Stapleton. It was interesting, I was looking at the drivers that I mentioned as far as the point standings and everything, and a number of them last week jumped up in the point standings. The only one I think that I really saw that significantly dropped in the points was Keith Batson. It's Cody Lamas right now top of the board. And this is why. He is on the back bumper of the 30 of Sadal Soler, and this is looking eerily similar to what we saw in Division 1 Round 2 when Andrew Miller was all over the back bumper of Austin LaPlante. The interesting thing, though, is LaPlante was the driver that was leading the two-car tandem, and he bested Andrew Miller, who was running behind him by 1/1000th. So, if I'm Sadal Soler, I like where I'm running right now. Zachary Fitzwater, 41.559. Let's see if that gets beaten by either Lamas or Sadal, and it does. There you go. Case in point, the car that was out in front of the two-car tandem is the fastest out of the two. Sadal with a 4.91, Lamas with a 5.34, and they just dropped like flies as this group is really flying. Ooh, I like the look of this. Batson might be setting up for a really good lap this next time by. He's got Fitzwater and Stapleton behind him. He's got Patrick Smith and Josh Drake just ahead. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch him or not, though. Might come down between Patrick Smith and Keith Batson for this pole. Because Patrick Smith's the leader of this draft. Batson's the leader of the draft behind him. Let's follow this. Sadal Soler just laid down 41.258. Can Smith beat that? 3.99. He did not. Fitzwater did, though. Fitzwater top of the board. 41.138. And that might have been it. That might have been the last lap they're counting. We'll have to see if they count this next lap. So if they do, let's jump up here. Oh, boy, this is going to be a very good lap here for John Andrews, maybe for Sadal. Carson Gum. He's got Langland pushing him. Does Sadal improve? 1.46. Not enough. Can Patrick Smith improve? No, he was slower. What about Fitzwater? He was slower. Batson was slower. And so was Stapleton. And that's going to be the last lap that they will probably count for lap time. So the Auto Trader number 59 Chevy Camaro of Zachary Fitzwater, who found himself in the cellar of the point standings a few weeks ago, has now climbed himself out of the top 30 in points. He's 27th in the standings coming into this race. Gained 5 spots last week at Talladega. What a time for this team to be turning their season around, as he will be continuing on the streak. 22 races, 22 different pole sitters, as he will get his first pole of the season, and it will come here today at Toddring Super Speedway. 41.138 to Sadal Soler's 1.46. That is 8/1000ths of a second, the difference from first to second place. And the difference from starting on the inside to starting on the outside of the front row. It'll be Cody Lamas and John Andrews, the two former pole sitters that made it into the second round. They will make up row number 2. Keith Batson will complete the top 5. Then it'll be Nathan Stapleton, Josh Drake, Patrick Smith, Kyle Langland, and Carson Gum will be your top 10 for the starting lineup for Sunday night's race. So the streak continues. At some point, we're going to end up getting a repeat pole sitter. But, I mean, I'm amazed that we have been able to go 22 races with 22 different drivers starting on the inside of the front row. That is unbelievable. But Fitzwater will be the latest of those. Thank you all for tuning in to this qualifying session from Toddring. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Tomorrow night, Division 1 drivers will be here at Toddring for their 11th race of the season. Then Sunday night, we cap off the Toddring race weekend with the Division 2 drivers. We'll see you guys tomorrow night as we continue on the chase towards the chase for the championship for both divisions in the Skittles Super Speedway Series, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, off-road racing at its best.